Hi there, Internet Land. It's Waste of Potential 616 back again. I have actually got a load of comics from the comic shop, but I haven't actually got around to reading them all, so I can't do a big review, and it's bloody late and I've got to get to work in the morning. But anyway, just wanted to talk about a comic, well, a trade that I managed to pick up for $4.99, which is a bit of a bargain, which is Onslaught Reborn. Yeah. Hey. Okay, now it's a hardback as well, so $4.99 is pretty bloody good. Thank you though, Walk Among Us. That's a bloody bargain there. Now, obviously, this isn't going to be Shakespeare, okay? It's it's going back to the Heroes Reborn universe. Well, it sort of is, although that's isn't it? That was one of the issues with the comic. But anyway, Jeff Loeb, who I've been talking about quite recently, been a bit disappointed with his work recently. Rob Liefeld, who, well, controversial figure, but I actually thought this was quite a lot of fun. I mean, this wasn't Watchmen, and it was never going to be. It was never going to be a clever, intellectually challenging comic book. And people would argue that no, they'd be liars. But anyway, that's beside the point. It's basically Franklin. After the No More Mutants thing by the Scarlet Witch, when she gets rid of all the mutants, I'm not going to go into detail, but somehow Onslaught gets resurrected. He goes after Franklin Richards, and they go into the Heroes Reborn universe, although I'm not sure whether it was the Heroes Reborn universe or just a very similar one. I'll explain that later. Then sort of the Avengers and the Fantastic Four help him defeat Onslaught. Wolverine appears. Yeah, that should be weird. And then he gets home and Onslaught's defeated. Okay, this is a very simplistic story. Very simple. But as I say, simple but fun. And the Rob Liefeld art, I don't mind Rob Liefeld. I mean, especially his older stuff when he was actually working for Marvel and he had someone to tighten his rein a little bit. I mean, for instance, the Hulk issue he did where the Hulk fought Wolverine, fucking wicked. Like, what was that, 360, I think it was, Hulk 360? I could be wrong, but brilliant stuff, I mean, the problem with him, and with a lot of image artists, is there's loads of splash pages, and this stuff was from that as well. There's a lot of splash pages. You can read through an issue, it's a bit funny saying that in a trade, but you know what I mean, very quickly. I read through this like that, it was quick, but it was still fun. And overall, this is a very fun story. Sort of classic superhero fare, nothing too deep, but just a giggle, a bit of a giggle, which I would like. There are a few issues I have with this. Let's go back to Rob Liefeld, okay? He does too many splash pages. There's not enough sort of panels, but that could arguably be the fault of the writer dictating how many panels he wants, although that isn't, because he's accustoming the strength of the artist, and you can tell that because they've worked before together. But despite many of the criticisms of Rob Liefeld, he's a bloody good drawer. He can draw characters, and sometimes he fucks up the proportion, but when he gets the proportion right, he draws some good bloody characters. Illustrates. His thing, Benjamin Grimm, is brilliant. It really is. Like, the detail he puts into it is great, and the fight scenes are dynamic and exciting. And there's actually a few backgrounds in this, which is quite rare for Rob Liefeld, but no, it's actually, the artwork's enjoyable. I think Now, a few of the problems I have is actually with Jeff Logan's story. Now, it gets a bit confusing because you don't actually... Franklin Richards goes into the ball, which he created for the Heroes Reborn of Universe now. He goes in there and all the Avengers are there and blah blah blah, but it kind of doesn't really match up with the Heroes Reborn continuity. Is this a separate universe? I don't know. And then it turns out that Hawkeye in the Heroes Reborn universe is Wolverine. And then he mentions Magneto and Xavier. So did they exist in this universe? It doesn't make a lot of sense. It really doesn't. It gets a bit confusing. But if you don't want to be too nitpicky and delve into that too much, there is a fun little story. And I mean little story. It's nothing epic. But it's an enjoyable superhero story at its base level. It's nothing too... You don't really need to think, you know, you really don't. So yeah, I'd say I enjoyed this. I'm glad I picked it up for $4.99. You know, it was good. It was good. I'm not sure about getting the original issues or getting the trade at its original price. I mean, in US dollars, it was $19.99, which is, I don't know, about £12 over here, something like that. You know, but yeah, $4.99 was good buy, and it was enjoyable. And I mean, I don't think it was just my comic shop doing the discount, although, you know, they do good deals. But I think it was actually kind of part to do with Marvel's 70th anniversary. So if you can get this cheap at your local comic shop, I recommend it. It's a giggle, but it's nothing too deep. I mean, the artwork's enjoyable as well. It's a simple little fun story with good art. So there we go. Gets a little bit confusing. I'm not confusing in the respect of continuity issues, but apart from that, it was a good read, so I recommend it. Okay, why not? Anyway, I'll be back soon with some comic reviews on recent issues. Till then, look after yourselves.